And a good Tuesday afternoon to you. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com. They represent 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, and 802 Honda, all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. Looking at the big picture here, surface area of higher pressure. Actually, this area of higher pressure is located in the upper levels. This is about 18,000 feet, or 500 hectopascals thicknesses. And you can see that this is a closed off area of higher pressure, and that's the reason why they're having some pretty extreme heat. Currently looking at just precipitation, cloud cover. You can see that there's a trough in the west, Pacific Northwest, West Coast region, and this has forced a ridge to build across this particular area. It's not quite 1 o'clock yet, but already we're seeing heat indices really building across the southeast United States underneath this big, hot blob here. We do have a weather system incoming. This is an area of low pressure that's going to track across the region, and it's going to produce a warm front. This is kind of the leading edge of that warm front, and it will track into Vermont. It looks like starting with some cloudiness a little bit later on in the afternoon, and especially arriving into the evening hours. Most of the rain falls during the night tonight. There could be an isolated thunderstorm or two in the mix as well. Just a few lightning strikes, nothing severe. However, tomorrow on the backside of this area of low pressure, as it moves on by, it'll drag a cold front through, and we might even see a couple rounds of showers and thunderstorms as it looks right now. Some of the thunderstorms widely scattered. Could be some isolated storm, even locally severe. Something we'll need to watch on Wednesday afternoon. Looking at the 6-hourly increments of the European model. And what we have here is our next incoming rainstorm. Precipitation working in out of the Great Lakes, a little bit to the north of the Great Lakes. Kind of works over the top of a ridge of higher pressure. This is valid about 8 o'clock, and this is about the arrival time when we're going to see that precipitation across the northern one-third of Vermont. Then it overspreads through the night, and we could see a couple isolated thunderstorms in the morning hours tomorrow. This could be up in the northern tier regions, probably more like over toward the St. Lawrence River Valley. However, as these first initial warm front moves on through, a secondary boundary will start to come through, and this will be a cold front, and it's kind of weak. Moves on through. Nothing really exciting to look at here in terms of precipitation amounts based off the European model, but there's some indication that we could see 1 or 2 strong, maybe locally severe thunderstorms, as we do have wind shear that's going to be up around 35 to 45 knots, and that'll interact with instability that could be anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 joules per kilogram. That's some decent instability, so we're setting up for potentially some thunderstorms here, some of which could be strong during the afternoon on Wednesday. And then looking beyond that, well, this is how it shapes up. We're looking at a clearing sky as we get into later overnight Wednesday night. Thursday looks like a real good project weather day, as does Friday. We have a 1034 hectopascal high pressure system that's going to be moving across Quebec. That moves on out, and we start to see a return southerly or southwesterly flow. That's going to be pushing back in. Looks like Friday night mostly. But 2 really decent days, Thursday and Friday, and then the next frontal system, maybe some thunderstorms in the mix there as well. That'll happen, it looks like, mostly during the morning hours on Saturday. A lot of that gets pushed on out in the afternoon with increasing amounts of sunshine. And then it sets up Sunday with maybe perhaps a little bit of rain shower activity in the northern areas, and that's the end of the period. And we're looking at here is the precipitable water, sigma, and our standard deviation. And you can see that we're in the blue here on Tuesday, and then we're starting to see increasing amounts of moisture by even 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That higher precipitable water will work in later today. It looks like it activates showers and, again, maybe an isolated storm up in the northern tier region. And this is overnight tonight, and then that frontal system then works on to the south and east of our region, and we'll just continue looking at an area of higher pressure building in for 2 solid dry days for Thursday and Friday. And then the next weather system moves in. So precipitable water, we're looking at probably 1 to 2 standard deviations even on Saturday, and the same thing on Wednesday. There could be some localized heavy rainfall with some of those thunderstorms at bullseyes or tracks across the same particular area. And then beyond Saturday, this is how it's shaping up. We have this frontal boundary that works on out, and then drier weather works in for Sunday, although there is some potential showers in the northern tier region. And then beyond that into Monday, looks like some nice dry weather before a lot more moisture begins to work in. That won't happen until the middle of next week. And just to carry that as far as we can go. another frontal boundary along about Wednesday, Thursday of next week. And looking at the Jeff's forecast centered on Montpelier, Vermont, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 potentially shots of precipitation here with a big dry stretch. And we're coming out of today, so this is basically tonight and then tomorrow afternoon. And then this is a drier period through Thursday and Friday before we get to Saturday. This is total 7-day QPF, or quantitative precipitation forecast, acquired or accrued precip. You can see the main area with the heaviest precipitation is across the northern tier coming out of the plains into the Great Lakes. This is only about 0.25 of an inch, quarter of an inch here. Increasingly it goes to a half inch and then up around 1 inch in these blue lines. So this is a relatively drier area that's going to be stretched across the region over the next 7 days according to the Weather Prediction Center. Quick look at the climate reanalyzer, and you can see that below normal temperatures by slight amounts across portions to the north, across Canada. This is a slight increase in temperature, and this is actually going to spread, and really we're going to see this adjust to actually warmer conditions. And some of the higher latitude blocking producing these warmer than normal temperatures up in northern Canada, parts of Alaska, and so forth, will actually start to flip and will go the other way. This is a good example right here. This is running about 6 degrees above normal. Over toward Vermont, we're running about 3 degrees above normal with the neutral and colder than normal weather to the north and east of us. So 3 days later, look at that. We warm up almost coast to coast. West Coast is going to be under the gun now with a couple frontal systems working in out the Pacific, through the Pacific and into the West Coast. But meantime, we're looking at, again, about 3 degrees above normal. But things warm up, and of course that heat wave that's in the south spreads across the country. Looking at the tropics, we have one wave, an easterly wave here, that's about 20% chance. Another one in middle Atlantic, and the third one that's worked its way off of Africa. And then we have Gabrielle, tropical storm Gabrielle, 50-mile-an-hour sustained winds. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.